What's the line? What's up? It's your boy Jay from the K, and just want to do a quick run through. Did a video earlier this week, kind of rapped about some things that may have made some people uncomfortable. Some of you people may have appreciated what I said. Uh, can't do much about either way, but I did want to follow up and just kind of give a little bit more advice to my fellas out there. So let's dig in. So, fellas, last week we had a conversation in the Triple M. I said I was going to talk about it. I came back, did a follow up. We talked about it a little bit more, manhood versus masculinity. And as I was thinking about that later on, I started to think there were some books and some things that I used to pour myself into to kind of get a better understanding of what it means to be a dad, a husband, a father, so on and so forth. Now, like I said last time, man, I'd be wrong if I didn't share with you some of the things that has helped me overcome some things in my life, or just to grow. You know what I mean? So, just wanted to share with you a couple of things, right? First, I told you, man, you got to get you a network, a community of people, somebody to mentor you, someone who can be in your circle of influence. And mind you, you are an influence to somebody else, right? And so you got to be conscious about what it is that you have that you're going to be pouring into somebody else. Is what you're pouring into somebody else, is it of value? Is it meaningful? Is it purposeful? What is the intent of it? Is it healthy? You dig? Because you are accountable for those people that are within your circle of influence. Okay, just like the people who are that you are in their circle of influence, they are responsible for what they pour into you, how they pour it, how much they pour, how little they pour, or if they pour it all. You dig? And so be mindful of that for your own growth and development, but also for the ones that you love and that you care for and that you bring into your network and community. Okay. So aside from that, where do you find information? Right? There's no excuse anymore these days for not knowing something. We have the internet, we got cell phones at the tip of our fingers, we have the computers, we have so much information out there that we can process. So there's really no excuse, right? And if you're not into technology, you still don't have an excuse because there's a local Barnes and Nobles, there's some kind of bookstore, there's a library. You don't have a real excuse for why you don't know something, except for the fact that you don't want to know, right? And so as you grow and you develop and you mature a little bit more, um, just like I am, you'll find yourself craving and thirsting for something that you just can't get. And sometimes that's a sign that now it's time for me to move along a little bit further. Some of the people that are in my circle, maybe I've outgrown them. Uh, not they're not useful to me, not that, but maybe I've just now got to a point where I need a little bit more. I can't get it here. They can't provide for me. I can't provide for them. So it's time for me to go out here and journey a little bit further, get what I need, and then I can bring it back to my fellows and my peoples and just kind of enrich their lives with it. Okay. Um, but just like I said last video, we don't know everything, right? And so shame on you if you think you know everything and you pretend and you go on and you practice this ignorant uh, buffoonery, you know what I mean? Type of thinking where, I got all the answers, right? And that goes back to our pride as men. That we don't wanna ask for help. We don't want anybody to sit us down and say, "Hey, look, bro, the way you out here manning," coining a new phrase, "you out here manning all wrong." You know what I'm saying? We all need that person, right? And it's funny. I just thought as I'm talking about this, talking about manning, I'm thinking about Jungle Book and Man Child, right? They used to call Mowgli Man Child, right? But Mowgli needed a mentor, so he had what's the bear's name? Baloo, I think it was what it was, right? So he had Baloo to kind of mentor him and show him how to be a man, right? And even though that's a cartoon, there's some truth in that. We all need a Baloo. We all need somebody to mentor us, help shape us and sculpt us, help us to grow and process and develop, right? And so why is development so important? Because as dads, um, it is important. It's pivotal. It's vital. I mean, for us to be involved in the development of our children. So the way they think, the way they perceive themselves, the way they perceive the world around them. We're not just about safeguarding and protecting them. If somebody bullies them, I'm going to show up to the school and, you know, all that kind of stuff. That's one thing. But statistics show that children perform better in school when dad's involved, right? So when he's concerned about the ABCs, the one, two, threes, they perform better, right? It's just statistically proven, okay? And those same children who have that involvement in their development, they go on to be more successful adults. They're less likely to be in jail. They're less likely to abuse substances. They're less likely to be promiscuous at a younger age, right? And so all these things have been proven statistically, but those are what happened. Those are things that happen when the dad is involved in the development of the child, right? And so that's why I raised the point in the last video. You have to really assess yourself and ask yourself, did I really receive that sort of attention myself? Did I have that kind of father figure or positive male role model in my life that really poured into me and invested that time in me? And then what is it that they invested in? What is it that they poured into me, right? Because everything that we can impart isn't always good, right? And so that's why that part of personal development and growth requires us to always assess ourselves, right? Okay, so I'm just gonna give you 3 books. I have a library, I have some books, but I just thought about some that I think are important, that are good for building you up a little bit, right? So the first one is the 7 Secrets to Effective Fathering, all right, by Dr. Canfield here. Very good, powerful book, man. Very insightful book. Um, from a practitioner standpoint, it is a great book, right? Um, there's a lot of 7 this, 7 that, 5 rules to this, and all that, right? Um, but you're gonna get some real education in this book. You're really gonna get some real psychological and social teachings in this book. It's going to help you in your parenting skills, in your. Um, it's really going to make you change the way you look at yourself as a man and a father, and enrich your life. Okay, so don't be afraid to read. Pick up this book, man. You can get it anywhere, man. All right, I'm sure you can get it online at Amazon real easy. Okay. All right, and I'll put a link in the description where you can find these books. Okay. All right, so another book. This book I got this book a long time ago, um, and this book really helped me out a lot, right? And so in the last video, I talked about how our relationships and how we, as men and our masculinity, can muddy the water when it comes to our relationships with our spouses and with our children, right? And so this book really helps because it helps you to understand how the person that you're dealing with actually needs to be loved, right? And that's key because sometimes if we're masculine and we're men and we're just macho and we just got it all because we're Rico Suave, we just know women, we think, right? We'll step to a woman and proceed to try to love her the way we think she needs to be loved, right? Because as little boys, we only learn one trick. When it comes to women, we don't really learn how to know women. You know, and so because they're diverse and they're multifaceted, what I'm saying, they have multitasking minds, and there's so many different layers to women. We can't just say, this is how you treat all women. This is how you love all women, and the same is true for women to men. There's no way that you can just love all men one way, right? And to be truthful, it's selfish to try to love somebody the way you think they ought to be loved, right? Because we're all different. We all have different needs at different levels, at different times. We need to, when you're in a relationship with someone, you have an interest in that person. And people change. Every 5 years, a person's different. And so if you're still trying to love a person the way you did when you first met them, man, you're setting yourself up for failure, right? So how do you discover what a person needs in love? Well, someone put together kind of a roadmap to discovering what that looks like. Okay, and so this book is The Five Love Languages by Gary Chapman. Okay, great book, man. If you haven't read this book, you need to stop somewhere today and go get this book. Right, it's going to change everything. You know what I'm saying? So basically, it's like the different personality types in love. Right, uh, you'll need to understand that. You know, like my personality, my love language. If my woman doesn't know how to speak my love language, then she's gonna not meet my need. You know what I'm saying? And so, what happens when your needs are not getting met in a relationship? You kind of start either looking for someone else to meet the need or something else to meet the need, or you might get resentful and bitter. You know what I mean? And just contentious and just have all kind of problems because you're not getting your needs met, right? And these love languages is not all about romance. It's about the person themselves. Like, what does it take to make this person feel loved, empowered, valued? You know what I'm saying? There's ways to do it. You got to just be able to be bilingual. Okay, so that's a good book. All right, and so the third book I'm gonna show you is it's a book that I picked up a couple years ago that I think is pretty good, like from a spiritual standpoint for men, right? And I like what drew me in was the cover and the title. It's to me, it just embodies the way men talk to other men. You know what I mean? How when I talked about in the last video, how we have these unwritten standards, like the man code, like we just know things that we hold each other to, and there's no more excuses, right? And so this book's by Tony Evans, Dr. Tony Evans, and so yes, it is a spiritual book. He's a Christian pastor, um, but it's not as that if he's trying to preach to you and force on you Christianity. You know what I'm saying? But as a man, we need to hear that message that there is no more excuses. Like in your life, you've come across somebody in your life who has given you some information about what it means to be a better man, right? So at that point, that information has come your way, you are wrong if you ignore it. You know what I mean? And you setting yourself up for failure if you ignore it. Okay. And so I would advise that you guys get these three books. Go online, get them. Go to your local Barnes and Noble, see if they got them there. If not, they can order them. I'm going to give you the links to these books. You can go get them yourselves. And there's so many good books out there. I just wanted to show you three of them just to kind of get you on the road to discovery, right? Uh, Funny thing is, I was going to show you another book that I have. It's called I think it's called What Women Want, or um, Do I Know Women, or something like that. You know what I mean? And so it's to kind of makes you think and ask you questions, and kind of makes you really assess how well do you really know women from a male perspective, right? Reading that kind of stuff will help you see, like, man, I thought I really knew, I really don't. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, just wanted to come back and just kind of give a little bit more uh, information, some insight, some encouragement to all my brothers out there, man, to keep manning on, but do it in the best way that you can possibly do it. You know what I mean? All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and let you guys go, and I'll talk to you guys again in the next video. Till then, you all be blessed.